أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Assalamu alaikum jameen wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and Milad al-Nabi and Milad al-Imam Sadiq al-Islam Barak to all of you. Just 2 days ago, yesterday was actually 17th level, today is 18th level, so we are still in this celebration for 2 week. May Allah give us tawfiq that we are able to actually understand the Quran as we take these courses. As usual, if there is a volunteer to start with the dua, please let me know. Anybody who would like to just Bismillah. Go ahead, Sister Dania.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Go ahead.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم وفقنا لما تحب وترضى ولا تكلنا إلى أنفسنا طرفة عين أبدا اللهم اخرجنا من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمنا بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Okay, thank you very much. You can't hear us, Sister Yasmin. Everybody else can hear. Maybe perhaps you come out and enter again, because I think everybody else can hear. So, yeah. Yes, so yeah, you have to. So we, inshallah, continue. Inshallah, Sister Jonas wants to know. Thank you for the special dua. We already have given the meaning of dua, so I'm not going to spend much time on it. So, alhamdulillah, last week it was really good to see that many of you actually participated when we asked you to conjugate the verb in past tense. You did that, which was very good. It really helped because it shows that people are participating and understand the concept. Because now you are already in level 7. We have finished unit 1, which was about nouns. Now we are getting to fa'il, right? So it was good. So after covering fa'il madi, that means the past tense, we are now coming into fa'il mudari. As we say that in Arabic, fa'il mudari is for both present tense and also future tense. Future tense could be either you come to know through the context, as inshallah we'll see some of the examples from the Quran, or you see a scene before that or sawfa before that. If you find scene or sawfa before fa'il mudari, before the present tense, then there's an indication of future. But as far as the conjugation is concerned, as far as the makeup of the word is concerned, it remains same, whether it is future or present tense. So now we are getting into fa'il mudari, which is present tense. So fa'il madi is a past tense. Today we plan to discuss about fa'il mudari, which is quite present tense and future tense. Okay. So have a look at a close look at table 94 now, of course on page 94. I hope that by now all of you have the textbook, or if not, then you can still download on our website. We have put first 9 lessons there. If you can see, we are now lesson 2, but if you see there's lesson 1, lesson 2 also on our website under Ali 658. And then from lesson 3 to 9 we are there, which inshallah we will try to cover now during this level. So if you go to page 94, just keep it open. Otherwise, you can open on your iPad or on your phone, page 94. There is a table there. And the question which Sister Dania asked last week about dual. So it mentions here, mufrid, muthanna, jam'a, right? Singular, dual, and plural. So mufrid, muthanna, and jam'a. So muthanna is a dual. And then ghaib al-mudhakkir, third person masculine, Ghaib al-mu'annath. Ghaib is somebody who is not in front of you. So a third person in Arabic is known as ghaib. That means, somebody who is not in front of you, you're talking of a person who is away. So is a third person, ghaib. Mudhakkar, of course, means masculine. Muannas means feminine. Al-hadir. Hadir, that means somebody is in your present. And then, of course, when you're talking to that person. So, when we are talking about somebody, when we are talking to somebody, second person, it is hadir, right? Al-hadir mudhakkar, al-hadir muannas. And mutakallim, that means the person who is talking himself. The person himself is talking mutakallim, which means the person who is discussing or talking himself. Mutakallim is known as first person. So if you look at this table, what they've done is they've taken just main word, fa'ala. Remember I told you, fa'ala is just to do. So the Arabs, what they do is just to explain certain patterns, they adopt a word, a verb, and then use that verb to make into and conjugate that verb to make into a table. So all the textbooks you'll find, when it comes to verb, they start with fa'ala, because it is an easy verb, fa'ala, number one. Number two, all the verbs you can see here, fata, fa'ala, and then fa'ala itself means to do. So, and the verb, as you know, has to do with actions, right? When actions are taking place. So fa'ala is the best example to start. Of course, once you understand fa'ala, the concept of fa'ala, the pattern, then we apply it to other words, okay? So please do open page 94 if in front of you, because now I'm not going to put on the slides things which already are there in the textbook, because otherwise it's just repetition. You need textbooks. So what you can do, for example, we are doing lesson 2, either you download the lesson and keep it in front of you, or you can also print those pages. So you can see that in front of you, there is third person, singular, yaf'alu, yaf'alani, yaf'aluna. Do you see this thing? So yaf'alu, he does it, or he will do it, because as I told you that, it can be used for both present tense and past tense, future tense in the context. So yaf'alu could be means both. He does it, or also he will do it. And you can see our author has also put it does it, because in Arabic, even a thing, remember we said verb is an action done by a human being, by an animal, or human gene, right? Remember? So when animal does it, in English we say it has done it. But in Arabic, if that animal is a masculine, then they will use yafalu. If it is a feminine, there's a tafalu. So they still use. So you can say it is he does it, or it does, that is yafalu, or he will do it, or it will do it. Are you all with me? So that is singular present tense. Then we go to dual, musanna, dual, right? Yaf'alani, they will do it. That means the two. Here, of course, the author has put in a book translation, they will do it, but as students, I would request you, when you answer this question, you say, the two men will do it, okay? Not they will do it. Because they, in English, can refer to two, can refer to three. They can also refer to men, it can also refer to female, right? So there is a very common pronoun. It does not specify. But yaf'alani is very specific. The two men, the two boys, the two masculine, two male does it. Okay, are you with me? It's very yaf'alani. So when I ask you to translate, for example, into English, a verb, a present tense, make sure that you do it, take in consideration the dual and also gender. Okay, so you have to also consider the number. It means dual, for example, and also gender. So yaf'alani means the two men do it. The two men will do it. Okay, yaf'aluna, they will do it. Now here, of course, you can say that's fine, because in this case they will use it as a plural, no? Because plural is three or more. So you say yaf'aluna, they will do it or they do it. No? So this is the third person, okay, of yaf'alu. Any questions? Do you understand the thing? Anybody who would like to ask question? Is that clear? Because we are starting a pattern now. The way you are able to conjugate the past tense, Now I want you to also to be able to conjugate the present tense. So yaf'alu, yaf'alani, yaf'aluna. Okay, yaf'alu, he does it, or he will do it, or it will do it. Yaf'alani, the two men are doing it, or will do it. Yaf'aluna, they are doing it, they do it, or they will do it. No, either they do it or they'll do it. No, so it's a present tense or future tense. Then we go to the same third person, but now feminine. So that ya changes to ta. Taf'alu. Taf'alu, no, taf'alani. Yaf'alani, taf'alani. And yaf'aluna does not become taf'aluna, it becomes yaf'alna. So it is almost similar to what we did, for example, remember in the past tense we did, for example, that balagna. So the women reached, right? Balagna. Or fa'alna. The women did, no? So that na with a fatha, short vowel, also appears in the present tense, no? Taf'alna. Taf'alna, you can see. So it is taf'alani, and then it's yaf'alna, so yaf'alna. So they do it, the women. So yaf'alna, okay? So again, taf'ala, sorry, taf'alu, taf'alani, yaf'alna. Taf'alu, taf'alani, yaf'alna. This is the third person, and of course, what? Feminine, third person feminine. We say about al-ghaib al-muannas. Okay? So yaf'alu, yaf'alani, yaf'aluna, taf'alu, taf'alani, yaf'alna. So the most tricky part is the feminine plural, because it is completely different. The first two starts with taf'alu, taf'alani. But suddenly when it comes to plural of feminine, it goes back to yaf'alna. You can see. So that is the most tricky. Make sure. So they will do it. That means the sister will do. Yaf'alna, right? Or they do it, or they will do it. So that is third person. Please keep the table in front of it. It's very important. Then we now talk to, hadir. That means second person. You're addressing someone. So when you say to a boy that you're doing taf'alu, that means you do it. Taf'alani, taf'aluna. So subhanallah, you can see the second person masculine is similar to third person feminine when it comes to singular and dual. Taf'alu, taf'alani, taf'alu, taf'alani. Do you see? So it's little, be careful. Now I know, then you will say, how do we know that who is doing it? Is it men are doing? Is it women are doing it? Is it third person? Is it second person? Your question will come, how do you know they are similar? Then of course you have to look at the context. Inshallah, as we look at the verses, we'll see the context will tell you that who's doing it, right? So taf'alu, taf'alani again comes with second person, masculine. But when it comes to second person plural, it is taf'aluna. Like yaf'aluna, third person, second person is taf'aluna. So it's same, but instead of ya, it is ta. Taf'aluna. Okay? So that is al-hadir al-muzakkir. That means second person masculine. Now we go to second person feminine. Okay, be careful. This is quite tricky, and we have to remember this thing. We have to memorize. There is no way out. Please, I know some of the people who are in the class are seniors. So am I. Right? We are seniors. I understand that. So it's difficult for us to memorize, but still we can do it. Especially because we are doing it with a very good intention to understand the Holy Quran. So I have no doubt that the help of Allah will be there. I did the Arabic learning first time was in 1984. Up to today, after all these 40 years, I still enjoy doing it. I still understand. So because we are doing for the sake of learning the Holy Book, to understand the divine message, there is also the help of Allah there, inshallah. So have that kind of confidence in yourself. You can do it, right? So now we come to second person, but feminine. So al-hadir al-mu'annas, second person. Taf'alina. You see, when you talk to a single girl, the second person, that you are going to do it, taf'alina, you do it, or you will do it. Taf'alani. So it is almost same as masculine. the dual is same as masculine. So taf'alani, taf'alani. So the dual will not change. In the next slide, when I'm going to give an example, you'll find that I have also colored. I've colored what things are similar. Okay? And then taf'alna, right? For example, the plural of third person was yaf'alna of feminine. The plural of second person feminine is taf'alna. So ya changes to ta. Otherwise, it's yaf'alna, taf'alna. Again, noon has a fatha. Keep that in mind in both these cases, in the second person and in the third person feminine. Okay? So that is this. And now it comes mutakallim. Person himself talks about first person, right? He says, af'alu, alif af'alu, naf'alu, noon, naf'alu, and dual and plural are same naf'alu. Okay? So it is very important that this particular table, please look at it, try to memorize it. You can get a colleague in this class, try to choose one of the colleagues in the class, and then you can test each other over the phone. You can do it. If you don't have, then if you, for example, would like to have somebody here as a colleague, if you don't have his or her contact, let me know, I'll give you. But do it, okay? Just try to test each other, but we have to memorize this thing. It's important. Again, so yaf'alu, yaf'alani, yaf'alun, third person masculine. Third person feminine. Taf'alu, taf'alani, yaf'alna. Okay. Second person masculine. Taf'alu, taf'alani, taf'aluna. Okay. Second person feminine. Taf'alina, taf'alani, taf'alna. Okay. And then first person is af'alu and naf'alu. Naf'alu is I do it, and naf'alu we do it, both dual and plural. Okay. So now let us look at the next slide. Here is, I've given you the example. What I've done here is now I have made a table here. Okay. I made a table here, and then you will see that it's a little easy. Again, last time we looked alima. Remember, I told you alima. The root verb ilm, alima, to know, together with its derivatives, occurs no fewer than 856 times. Does anyone remember in the last slide how many times I said in the last slide? In the last class, we use how many times? We say how many times it comes? Anybody remembers? That was 854. Here 856. So it's just nearer. Different what sources give different, But of course, 854 seems to me near because I'm not only using a book, but I have a concordance in Arabic of Quranic concordance. Quranic concordance is, it means every word in the Quran which comes, they explain the meaning of it and then where it comes. So it's whole concordance. That showed 854. Here, this is just in a book. In any case, with the data occurs no fewer than 856 times. Franz Rosenthal, he's one of the Orientalists, a European who studied Islam many, many years ago. You can also take what his name in Google, you'll find articles of him regarding Islam. He says, he correctly observes, this is observation, that the ilm is one of those concepts that have dominated Islam and given Muslim civilization its distinctive shape and complexion. See? So Muslims were able to have a civilization long ago, even before Europeans could do it. Of course, later on, when the colonialists came, they occupied Muslim nations and they became poor and they divided Muslim nations. You can see, for example, take an example, right? That there is a big population of Kurds, K-U-R, Kurds, right? But you can see they are found, part of them are found in Iraq, in Turkey, and Iran. But British, what they did, they divided these countries, right? For example, the colonialists, Iran, Iraq, and Turkey and Syria, right? But then they never gave such a big population of Kurds their own land. So up to today, you can see there's always this kind of tension, right? That they have been just ignored totally. Although they're huge, they are very smart people, very hardworking people, and also a huge number. It's not a small minority, but they don't have their own country. See? So what has happened that the colonialists, they came and they occupied it, they got us divided, and remain behind. Otherwise, when Islam started, and when they read the Quran, and when they saw the emphasis on seeking knowledge, ilm, this immediately became a very great civilization, and you can just look into the books now. So this is somebody as the book Spiritual Quest. He has quoted this thing. Now notice the similarities highlighted by colors. I told you, right, that as far as similarities are concerned, what I do is that I use what color code to similar. So you can see. Now let us use alimun, to know. Ya'lamu, he knows. You see, ya'lamani. I didn't say they know, right? Unlike, example, our author, he said that yaf'alani, she said no, yaf'alani, they do. No, I didn't say. I want you to, because as a student of Quranic Arabic, I want you to be very specific. So what we'll do is that I've said they both know, because it is masculine dual. They both know. Ya'lamuna. They, again, we don't only say they know, like our author, they did know. I said they into bracket men know. Okay, they men know, because it is masculine. So I want you to, as whenever you translate, for example, this present tense, make sure that you consider these differences. These small differences, but it's very important. Just cannot use, because in English, you, right? You in English can be one person, can be two, can be three, can be boy, can be girl, can be man, can be women, right? You, but no. In Arabic, all these will be different, completely different words for that you, right? 6 different cases. So in the same way, when you translate it, make sure that you do it well. Now we come to ta'alamu. Ta'alamu, she knows. She knows, or she will know. Remember, I told you present tense or future. Ta'alam. Ta'alamani, they both know. They both know. Now again, they both know here, but of course this is, they both know, and I'll also have to add, they both, not only they both, but they both women know. Both women know. So even I have missed out that the women word should be there. They both women know, right? Ya'lamna. They women know. See, like men. So he also, just not they, but you have to put two. But of course, I did not put men here, because of course you have to differentiate. They men know and they women both know. Okay. So this is third person feminine. Okay. Now we come to second person masculine. Ta'alamu. You may know, or you will know. Inshallah ta'alamu. No. You are going to know about it. If there's a question, for example, certain kind of inquiries, over time you come to know it. Sometimes many people are worried, when I'm going to be able to read the Quran, understand. Inshallah, you'll know, right? Ta'alamani, you both men know. Ta'alamuna, you men know, or you will men know, right? That is the second person masculine. Second person feminine. Ta'alamina, ta'alamina. Second, you woman know, or you girl you know, right? You sister know, ta'alamina. Ta'alamani, you both women know. So it is, when it comes to dual, it is same, you see. Subhanallah, not only that, dual is same for third person feminine, for second person masculine, and also second person feminine. So you see, subhanallah. So ta'alamani is quite confusing. Ta'alamani will apply to dual of third person feminine, second person masculine, second person feminine. Ta'alamani. Do you see? So that is quite, you have to be careful, you have to see the context. And then of course second person feminine, it is ta'alamna. Ta'alamna, you women know. Okay, so this is quite interesting. And then now it comes first person, masculine and feminine is same. A'lamu, I know, a girl would say, a boy would say, I know. Na'lamu, we know. Two of them say, three or more than two will say, two boys will say, two men will say, two sisters will say, na'lamu. So this is the pattern. Now I realize it's not easy for us to know this thing, but we have to master this thing. And then, as whenever you are now, the best thing is, as students of Quran, I always tell you, whenever you student of Quran, always keep the translation in front of you. Okay, keep the translation in front of you and read the translation. Okay, read the translation with the Quran, with the translation. And every time observe whatever you have learned, the rules, try to find those things. and see that how it is. Does the rule make sense there? If, for example, you find that the rule is not being followed, ask a question. You can put a question mark there with a pencil. In the class, we can then discuss sometimes. If you okay, so this is the same present tense. The author had yafalu. We have taken ya'lamu, alima. Okay, any questions? Yes, so let's go to the next slide. So next slide is just observation of this. The two tables you've done, now this observation. Based also on our what unit, right? Unit 2, lesson 2. So you can see. Remember the word Arab. Arab, if you remember, we came across this thing earlier, which we covered earlier in session 1. If you see session 11, we are just now in session. Every level has 7 sessions. So this is the first 6 session has 6 times 7, 42. This is session number 45 now. Okay, with 42, 43, 44, 44, because this is the third session. We are session number 45. In session number 11, that means we were in level 2. At that time, we discussed the word Arab. What does it mean? We said that harakat, singular harakat, are the vowel signs Dhamma, Fatha, and Kasra that are placed on the letters of nouns, verbs, and particles. No, kataba, for example. Kataba is a verb, right? So you put Fatha on ka, ta and ba, kataba, right? Karuba, kaf has a Fatha, ra has a Dhamma, ba has a Fatha, karuba, right? So we put these signs over the nouns, verbs, and particles. Adding haraka on the last letter are based on grammatical rules. No, rules is known as putting Arab. So keep in mind that the last haraka, what the haraka, which the vowel sign which you put on the last letter, depends on the grammatical rules. And only those Arabs who know the rules well, when they give lectures, you'll find them doing this correctly. Otherwise, many Arabs, with due respect, those who don't know those who don't know the grammatical rules, when they talk, they make a lot of mistakes. If you realize that you can understand what he's trying to say, but grammatically he's making a lot of mistakes. For example, we say in Urdu, ye aapka hai, or ye tera, right? So this is for you or it's for you. So depending whom you are talking, you change it. So in Arabic, there's a lot of changing. So this Arab is something we know. So the default Arab of a noun is Dhamma, as in the word Muhammadun. So in the noun, Muhammad is a noun, right? Because it has tanween. So Muhammadun, you can see default Arab. The last letter of Muhammad is Dhammatain. Is Dhammatain, as in the word Muhammadun. Now it's not going Dhamma, but Dhammatain. Okay? For verbs, the Arab is Dhamma on the last letter of present tense verb. For verbs with suffixes, Arab is on the form of ni for dual and nu. So let's see what he's trying to say. So if you go back to the table, so you see that this is the Arab of, you can see this is, the original was alima. We put ya. So ya is known as a prefix. Okay. Ya'lamani, here we have added alif and nun. So alif and nun are known as suffix, something which is added at the end. Ya'lamuna. So there is a prefix ya and there is a suffix waw and nun. So what they are telling us here, that for verbs, the Arab is Dhamma on the last letter of present verb. Okay? So if you take the present verb, Ya'lamu, you can see the last letter of present verb, mim, has Dhamma. Okay, that is the Arab of it. This is known as Arab. And of course, for the words with suffixes, the Arab is in the form of ni and nu. So if you see, for example, this is a suffix. This alif, nun is suffix, alif, these are all has suffix, right? So you can see either you got ni or no. Here is ni or no, no? No, ni or na, although. So plural, yeah. Ya'lamuna. Yeah, okay. So it is nu here is no ya'lamuna. So this is perhaps referring to Dhamma. No, that is what he's trying to refer. So let me check if that's exactly what it says here. No? Hold on. No? Yeah. Dual and the purport is na. So it's not nu, it's na. So this is a mistake here. It should not be nu, it should be na. Okay, so this should be, so let me just correct it before we forget it. No? So here should be not nu, na. Okay? So let me correct it. So you can see that this is the Arab. Arab is either Dhamma or Ni or Na. So you can see here is Ni or Na, you see? Because there is a prefix Ni or Na. You can see Ni or Na. Here is Dhamma, of course. Here is Dhamma again. So either you can see this Dhamma here on Ya'lamu, Ta'lamu, Ta'lamu, A'lamu. This Dhamma is the Arab of this verb. Arab is the last haraka and the last letter, which is the account of grammar. Where there is the suffixes, for example, all these are suffixes, right? Suffix is something added after that. So all these cases, dual and plural, all these fixed cases have suffixes, right? So in these suffixes, they either add nun kasra or nun fatha, nun kasra or nun fatha, nun kasra or nun fatha, nun kasra. So these are known as Arab. No, and Arab, as we said, Arab is what? Arab is that if you add, for example, I dhamma kasra atain at the end of the letter, no? And this is on account of grammatical rules. It indicates a grammatical. We saw in the last lesson that the middle letter of the verb in past tense can carry either fatha, kasra, or dhamma. Remember in the last lesson? Let me just go back, okay? I'll just show you. Let's go to last week lesson, okay? Remember we said that, so here it is, right? It can be, the middle letter can be fatha, kataba, kharaja, katala, dakhala, or it can also kasra alima, rakiba, samia, or it can be dhamma, karuba, hasuna, right? This is we saw in the past tense. So now what we are being told is that in, here it is, what the author is telling is that we saw in the last lesson that the middle letter of the verb in the past tense can carry either fatha, kasra, or dhamma. In the present or future tense, the middle of the letter verb can have either fatha, kasra, or dhamma. So in the same way also, the middle letter can have any of these things. However, the haraka of the middle letter in the present future tense of the verb does not have to match the haraka in the past tense. That is very important. It's not, for example, that because kataba, for example, kataba, right? Kataba, or let us take, alima, right? Example. Here is ya'lamu. What is the original word of, what is the past tense of ya'lamu? What is the past tense?
Alama.
Alima. Alima, right? Ain, lam kasra, alima, right? Here we did earlier. So you can see alima. So you can see the middle letter is kasra. The middle letter has a kasra, alima. Even then, although the middle letter is alima, when you do change into present tense, it does not necessarily have to be ya'alimu. No, the present tense is ya'lamu, you can see. So the middle letter has a fatha instead of kasra. So what they're trying to say, that the middle letter, now we saw that, right? In the present, however, the haraka of the middle letter in the present or future tense of the verb does not have to match. Does not have to match. Is missing this typo. Does not have to match the haraka in the past tense. Study closely the table on page 96 of text. Yeah. So if you now have the text in front of you, okay, if you have the text in front of you, so open page 96. I didn't want to again rewrite the whole table here on the slide. So you need now the text. You're using text a lot, okay? So if you open page 96, you can see there's a table there, right? So for example, the first verb is nasara. What is the meaning of nasara?
Help. He
To
helped.
help. Yeah, to help. He helped, right? Nasara here. So its present tense is yansuru. Do you see? So the past tense, the middle letter is fatha, but in the present tense, the middle is dhamma. Are you there? Do you see the table? All of you, I hope you are keeping the table open. So do you see, it's quite interesting. They say, although the past tense, the middle letter is fatha, but when we change the process into present tense, the middle letter takes dhamma in this case. So nasara yansuru. You see, dharaba. Dharaba has middle letter has again fatha. But in the present tense, it's yadribu. So do you see? In the past tense, the middle letter has fatha, but in the present tense, the middle letter has kasra. Now your question is there a pattern? No, there is no pattern. We have to learn this thing. There is no pattern. We need to learn this thing. Now, what of course the dictionary does, dictionary indicates that. Okay, so for example, let me bring the dictionary, the same dictionary we were using. I hope all of you by now have because we are also this dictionary, right? The name is Arabic English Dictionary. So what they do, whether is the present tense yadribu, yadrabu, what do you know? So what do you do? For example, if you take here daraba, so if I go and open the dictionary and find to open daraba, okay? So if I open daraba in dictionary, if you have, you can also open daraba, yeah? So daraba in my dictionary comes on page 538. No. So daraba, you can see it says after that daraba there is I. Immediately after daraba, there is Arabic daraba and there is transliteration daraba. Then they put I. What I means? I means that when you change this daraba into present tense, the middle letter will have yadribu. Do you see? So the dictionary tells you that when you change into present tense, what it would be. Would it be yadrabu, yadrubu, or yadribu? How do we know? Only Arabs would know what's speaking. We are learning, right? So how do you know? You can open dictionary, for example, and just daraba. Okay. Now, for example, nasara, right? So if I open nasara here in my dictionary, nasara, if you have a dictionary, you can also try and use it. So let's open nasara, okay? Yeah. So here it is Nasara. I got Nasara. So Nasara is on page 970 in my dictionary. So again, it's Nasara. After that, there is only separately. Nasara is in Arabic, then translation Nasara. After that, there's you. Okay, so what does this you mean? This you means that when you convert Nasara into present tense, it will be Yansuru. Okay, so the middle letter will take Dhamma. Are you all with me? So look at this table. So Nasara Yansuru, Daraba Yadribu, Sami'a. Sami'a, the middle letter has Kasra. But when it comes to present tense, it's Yasma'u. The middle letter takes Fatha. Do you see? So it's very important. This is very, very important. No, there is can say that however the character of the middle letter in present future tense, the verb does not have to match does not have to match the haraka in the past tense. You have to learn either through practice or open dictionary. Okay, so Samiya Yasmau. Fataha, right, means to open. Yaftahu, again, Fataha. So in this case, of course, both are Fatah. Fataha, that means Ta has a Fatah, and Yaftahu again, Ta has a Fatah. So in this is unique that both are Fatah, but it's not always the case. Then Karuma is to be generous, Kareem, right? Allah is Kareem, or people are Kareem, so Karuma, to be generous, to be generous. No? So Yakrumu, in this case also again is Dumma. Karuma, Yakrumu, right? Hasiba, Yahsibu, again, Kasra and Kasra. So sometimes they make, but sometimes they don't. Okay, so keep this in mind. So this particular table on page 96 of our text is a very important. Look at it again and again and know this thing that when you change the present tense into past tense into present tense, when you conjugate, the middle letter can take fatha, kasra, or dhamma, but this does not necessarily follow what appeared in the past tense. You have to know what is the convention. And there is no, even I don't know, there is no particular rule. It's only over time. As you read Arabic, as you, for example, read Quran, and in my case, I read Quran and Hadith and Dua, and also passages in Arabic to try to understand, for example, when we prepare lecture. So then you, over time, you come across this words and you know. Okay. Any questions? Any clarifications? It's a very important thing you learn when it comes to present tense. Now, before we come, now we are going into page 96 and 97 of our text, whereby we are going to look at some of the examples. Okay, but before I do that, now, any questions?
What does hasiba mean?
Hasiba means to count. Hisab, right? Hasiba, to count or to reckon. Hasiba. Any other questions?
Help.
Nasara is to help. Nasara is to help. Daraba is to strike or hit. Samiya is to listen. Fata is to open. Karuma is to be kind or to be generous. Hasiba is to count or to reckon. Okay. So now let us look at the examples. Again in the same our text, because please keep the text in front of you. Otherwise, you can also print 3 pages. So we look at it. You can see in the bottom there, it says Bismillah ar-Rahman. Now, because we are starting now Quranic verses, right? وَيَفْعَلُ اللَّهُ مَا يَشَاءُ. Do you see? وَيَفْعَلُ اللَّهُ مَا يَشَاءُ. So wow is a conjugation N. يَفْعَلُ is a present tense. Original past tense was fa'ala yaf'alu. That means he does. Allah does ma yasha, whatever he pleases. And this particular thing, every day in the morning we say, right? When after namaz, we have a beautiful dua where we say, Masha Allahu la Masha Annas. Masha Allah wa in kari Annas, right? We say in the dua after Fajr prayers, Masha Allahu la Masha Annas. No, Allah wills, human being does not will. Masha Allah wa in kari Annas. Allah wills, even if, Nas, that means whole people do not like it. Yes, Sudania?
The unmute button. I'm just curious, and this is maybe if you know off the top of your head. وَيَفْعَلُ اللَّهُ مَا يَشَاءُ. So are there usually the verbs that are attached to Allah in terms of action? Are they always in the present tense? Meaning, because we say God is not bound by time, but we use the present tense. I'm just curious. I just thought about.
Yeah. If the message is eternal, continuous, then it is present tense. You are right. But of course, there are so many verses of Quran whereby even past tense has been appeared, right? Because if we see when we read the past tense and some of the examples, so if you have the text in front of you, if you just go back and the example which are there. So for example, say, Ma anzalna alayka al-Quran al-tashka. Ma anzalna. Of course, Allah is talking about, no, but that is what past tense. Ma ja'allahu li rajulin min kalbayni. Remember we discussed last week. So ja'ala is a past tense. Yes, it also uses past tense, but when Allah wishes to say that this thing is continuous, right? So then he uses this, present. Yafalu ma yasha, yes, is a continuous thing. That means Mashiach of Allah, the will of Allah will always prevail, right? And it's beautifully recited by us in the dua, early in the morning. It's a very powerful dua, very, very powerful. It's one of the best duas. I like that dua so much that even, for example, it's month of Rajab or Shaban, we recite other duas after namaz, but I don't miss out this dua because it's a very powerful dua. If you understand the dua, you will enjoy it. So, Masha Allahu la Masha Annas. Masha Allah wa in kari Annas. Allah wills, people do not will. Allah wills, even people dislike it. It's the willing of Allah. That means you start your day by saying that Allah is in power, Allah is in control. And I'm going to start my day under the protection of Allah, right? So we go now to page 97, and there are another example there. So yadkhuluna al-jannah. You see, yadkhuluna al-jannah, now you can see it doesn't say sawfa yadkhuluna al-jannah. No, doesn't say yes, just say yadkhuluna. Yadkhuluna is the present tense, masculine, plural. But even then the translator says they will enter paradise. Now, do you see, how did she know that it is future and not present tense? It's the context, right? Because yadkhuluna Jannah, you know that Quran is talking about Jannah, that means the paradise. So if Allah is talking about paradise, then that is automatically future tense. So future tense, as I told you, is known either before that there is seen or sofa or the context. In this case, the context is telling us that they are going to enter, people who believe to enter into Jannah. So this is, of course, is not enter now, because if this means Jannah, that means it means physically they'll go into a garden. That's not the case, right? You and I go into garden all the time. If you have a beautiful garden behind your, house, I can see people here, mashallah, from Vancouver and Delta. So it's a very beautiful city. I've been there. So you can have a small garden back and you'll be entering every day there, right? That's not the case. Yet Khulul Jannah, of course, here is talking about the believers who will enter the paradise. So that is why it is will. Do you see this? So it is the context which has told us that it is what future. And that's why you can see on page again 97, the mudare is limited to the future tense when it is preceded by seen or sofa, very soon. So sometimes it's also like this. For example, Sayakulu Sufaha, the fools among the people will say. When will they say? What happened? If you look at this ayat, the context is that when the Qibla was changed, they did not like, right? So Sayakulu, the fools are going to always say, what is this? Muhammad was suddenly praying towards Jerusalem and now he started praying for Kaaba. What is it? People start questioning, right? Forgetting that Rasulullah was doing what Allah had asked him to do, right? So Yakulu Sufar. So you'll see that after what we have done, the fools are going to soon comment about it. فَسَوْفَ يُحَاسَبُ حِسَابًا يَسِيرًا. And his account will be taken by an easy record. So for Sawfa, that means if you if we are going to keep good actions in our life, right? So it comes to what hisab, right? When it comes to giving accounts, it will be easier. Allah will make it easier. For Sawfa yuhasabu hisaban yasira. His account will be taken by an easy reckoning. It will be easy. So that means when we are going to be asked, they are not going to question in such a way that we are going to be scared. The questioner or Allah or the angel who is questioning us on that day of judgment will make it in such a way that we will feel friendly and easy to answer. So this is hisaban yasira. Yuhasabu hisaban yasira. So this is on account of action, the action which we do, and also our hisab. So this is a very good example, as you can see, that whereby she has given us the example of present tense, and then present tense without seen or so far, but context is future tense, and then through seen and so far is the future tense. Any questions? Okay, so then she has also, and there's another table 97. I won't get into it, but for now, let us look at another example. So we did look at alima. So now the example is taraka. Okay, taraka. Taraka is to just abandon, to abstain, to leave. Taraka. No. So even to leave, for example, so when you leave an estate behind, so that is also taraka. No, for example, here you can say kutiba alaykum iza hadar ahadakum mauta in taraka khayran wasiya. So this is the ayat which is telling us Muslims that any one of us just now, if you have some kind of wealth, $1,000, $10,000, a house, a car, anything you've got, right? Then you cannot sleep without having your wasiyah. You should have the document, your will should be there. Because Quran says, Kutib alaykum iza hadar ahadakum maut. Prescribe for you that if the death happens to approach you, in taraka khairan, if you have left any kind with you, then make sure that you mention it in your will. That, for example, my bank account belongs to my spouse, to my wife, or to my children, or I want, for example, to be distributed this way. It's very important. My house won't belong, because if I die and if I don't leave a wasiyah, my own children who are, for example, my children, they work together, they respect each other, they love each other. Suddenly, because money comes, then we quarrel, right? They say, no, this is for me. My father said this belongs to me. The daughter says, no, he loves his daughter more than son. There'll always be that kind of argument, and that brothers and sisters start fighting. And there are so many cases. You just look into the in the world that after the death of the father or parents, the siblings have fought in the court, and end of the day they will lost so much money and also love and respect, right? And on top of that, also embarrassment when it goes to the court, public knows, right? So it is very important that we leave that wasiyat. But here, the taraka here is, the word taraka here means to leave. That means to leave what? Khayr, to leave some kind of estate. Well, any kind of wealth, right? فَإِنْ كَانَ لَهُنَّ وَلَدٌ فَلَكُمْ رُبُعُ مِمَّا تَرَكْنَا. You see? So now it says that فَإِنْ كَانَ لَهُنَّ وَلَدٌ, if they have a son, then then for you have 1/4 from what is left. Now this is just this is the verse of Quran which talks about how to divide the inheritance. So tarakna is the women who have left. فإن كان لكم ولد فلهن الثمن مما تركتم. So tarakna is third person of feminine, what they left, and taraktum is what men folk left. Watrukil bahru rahwa, and just you just leave, abandon the sea. What Musa was told. Now the time is just leave. وَإِذَا رَأَوْا تِجَارَةً أَوْ لَهْوًا انفَضُّوا إِلَيْكَ وَتَرَكُوكَ قَائِمًا. Right? We listen to this ayat every Friday in Namaz Jummah. وَإِذَا رَأَوْا تِجَارَةً أَوْ لَهْوًا. Prophet was giving khutbah on Friday. Suddenly, somebody came ringing the bell and shouting that a caravan has come from Syria. Who would like to come and barter, right? So people left. People left masjid, and Prophet was still there. They left the Prophet and ran towards just seeking to buy merchandise. When they tried to see any kind of merchandise or any kind of, for example, amusement, they just leave the Prophet. They just go away. Prophet was just left standing there. Just doing his khutbah, people just left. Tarakuka, right? قال رسول الله ما بين المسلم وبين الكافر إلا أن يترك الصلاة الفريضة مطمئن. Subhanallah. You can see what Prophet says. ما بين المسلم وبين الكافر. The difference between a Muslim and a kafir is what? إلا أن يترك الصلاة الفريضة مطمئنا. When a Muslim abandons prayer deliberately, taraka, these prayers deliberately, then there is no difference between him and a kafir. So ma bayna al-muslim wa bayna al-kafir illa an yatraku. So a Muslim becomes kafir or is almost like kafir when he or she abandons prayers deliberately. Or yatahawana biha fala yusalliha. Or for example, it just yatahawana, that means considers it insignificant. Salat is not important, and then does not pray. So then this brings about kufr, right? But just we are trying to work to taraka. So yatruku, taraka is the original word taraka. It is the original word taraka. The present tense yatruku, yatrukani, yatrukuna. Okay. Tatruku, tatrukani, tatrukna. Tatruku, tatrukani, tatrukuna. No. The feminine second person, tatrukina, tatrukani, tatrukna. Atruku, natruka. It's a dual and plural, of course, the same, so I will not mention it. So this is again table like alima, ya'lamu. This is taraka, yatruk. Okay. Any questions before we come to the verses in the Quran, in our text on page 98? Any questions? So it is straightforward, but you need to learn. It's very important that you try to take verbs and conjugate them into present tense. And as you are doing it, you will learn. You will need to know, for example, as I told you that you want to know, is it yatruku or yatraku or yatriku? So what do you do? Is it open the dictionary, right? Open the dictionary, find taraka, and after taraka, you will find immediately after there is a you. That means it is yet in the present tense, it's yatruku. Okay, so dictionary is must. make sure that you invest in dictionary if you plan to continue being a student. It's important. The dictionary, we mentioned about this earlier. If you want, I can again send in the email when I said, then, or maybe I'll put in a whatever group, is the Arabic English dictionary, the Hence we have dictionary of modern written Arabic. It is with me. You can see this is with me for so many years. I've used it until that time that I had to send it to a printer where to again glue it. Now you can see I've used it so often, right? Hundreds of, or thousands of times since I'm learning Arabic. But it's a good dictionary. It's covers well, and it discusses. No, it's a really good dictionary. Everybody's correct. Any questions? So now let us look at what our text. Okay, so go to page 98. Now I would like you to, each of you, start taking an ayat and then identify the present tense and say whether it is singular, plural, masculine or feminine, or first person, second person, third person. Okay, so identify the verb. So let me start, for example. If you see there in the text, or if you open the Quran, it is ayat number 27, surah 14. Yaf'alullahu ma yasha. Yaf'alullahu ma yasha. So yaf'alu is the present tense of fa'ala. It is third person, masculine, singular. Yaf'alu. Okay, so yaf'alu is a third person, masculine, singular. Yaf'alu. That is present tense of fa'ala. Yaf'alullahu ma yasha. Okay. Anybody would like to now take the second ayat? Inna Allah ya'lamu ma taf'alun. Anybody? Any volunteers? This is what this is. I told you, we won't do the homework, we do here. Yes, Sister Dania, go ahead.
Okay, so Inna Allah ya'lamu ma taf'alun. Ya'lamu is referring to God, so that would be third person masculine singular.
Son.
And do I have to do ma taf'alun as well?
Yes.
Taf'alun
Also,
is okay.
next verb there.
Okay, so that would
Present tense.
be taf'alun. Taf'alun
Yes.
is referring to, I guess, us. So that
Yes.
would be the third masculine plural.
Masculine plural, third or second?
No, third.
Second person. Ma taf'alun.
Ma taf'alun.
Right? Ma taf'alun is the second person. See here is fa'ala. Sorry, fa'ala. Just look at it in our
Oh,
table.
yeah, I see it. Yeah, I see it. Okay.
If you look at the table on page, you can see page 94.
Yeah.
So al-hadir al-mudhakkir, right? Taf'alu, taf'alun. Okay. So inna Allah ya'lamu ma taf'alun. Allah knows. That is there's a singular third person, because Allah ya'lamu ma taf'alun. Now Allah is talking to us. And this is the beauty of the Quran. Quran is often talking in second person, because Allah is addressing to either the Prophet or the believers or disbelievers. No? So he's talking. So inna Allah ya'lamu ma taf'alun. It's a very powerful verse, reminding us that, oh people, do not at all for a moment even assume that God is not aware what you are doing. Remember, I said in one of the lectures, not in this level, but in the past levels, that when madrasa, our teacher said, this is a candy, take this candy and try to take this candy, try to eat this candy when nobody is looking. Nobody is watching when you eat this candy. The next day, the teacher came and asked that how many of you were able to eat the candy? And everybody said, yes, I was able to eat the candy. Where did you do it? Somebody said in the room there, nobody was there, under the bed, in the washroom, like this. One boy said, no, I could not find a place whereby nobody could see me. So the teacher asked, why? He said, Allah sees me all the time, right? So this is it, that in Allah ya'lamu. Allah does not only see you, but Allah also knows. ma taf'alun. It's a very powerful message of the Quran, and it is one of the central messages of the Quran, that Allah is there and we are responsible to Allah, and so whatever we do, Allah is fully aware of that. Okay, good. Anybody will take next ayat, 1058? Yes, Sister Sabika.
هو خير مما يجمعون. يجمعون is غايب, third person.
Yes.
Jam, third person plural, jam.
Yes.
So غايب, third person, masculine. مذكر.
Yeah. Okay. Yajma'un is present tense of jama'a. Okay. Yajma'un is a third person, masculine, and also plural. Yajma'un. So it is better than what they all collect, or what they actually. No, I don't know why this author has used collect. I would translate it as what they gather. Let's see what the Quranic says. Okay, let's open Quran 1058. Where it is. It is better than what the MS, yeah, what they gather or what the MS, no, not the collect, what the MS, no. For example, people, for example, try to gather their wealth, right, all the time. So keep hoarding of wealth, no. So yes, so that is good. Yajma'una is a third person, masculine, and in plural. Yes, next one. Anybody can do it. Don't worry, even if you are wrong. No, we are learning, right? This is a classroom.
Can I try?
Yes, Bismillah.
Ya'lam is singular,
Mm-hmm.
it's masculine, and that's
Singular, so singular and what?
And masculine.
Masculine, yes.
And
which person?
Third, I think so.
Third person, awesome. Yeah, next one.
And then it's the taxibu, the root word is possible. So
Taxibu. So again, is it, what is it?
Taxibu, I have no idea. It earns?
Is it first of all masculine, feminine, second
It's
person,
feminine.
third person?
It's feminine.
It's feminine?
It's
Yeah.
feminine. And because of nafsin, it became taksibu. This is what I feel like that.
That's correct. Yeah, nafs is a feminine, so it is a feminine, yes. And then is it singular or dual?
This one, taksibu, is a it's a dual.
No, it's a singular, taksibu.
Oh, it's a
Singular. And then is it
So
is it present tense, past tense? Is it singular? Yeah, is it first person, second person, or third person?
let's see. I think it's a feminine, it's a second dual one.
Yeah, so it is a third person. Okay, taksibu. See, taksibu can be second person, third person feminine, and also second person masculine, right? So how do we know what is it here? It's because of nafs. Here, kullu nafsin, that means every nafs. So when you say every nafs which earns, so it is not what you earn, it's every nafs. So it is a third person. The third person, it is singular and it's feminine. يَعْلَمُ مَا تَكْسِبُ كُلُّ نَفْسٍ. He knows what every soul earns. Because nafs in Arabic is a feminine, and that is why it's taksibu. If nafs was masculine, just for argument, then this would be يَعْلَمُ مَا يَكْسِبُ كُلُّ نَفْسٍ. For example, if we change nafs to mar'a, not mar'a, mim, ra, hamza, mar'a, that means being, a person. So يَعْلَمُ مَا يَكْسِبُ كُلُّ mar'a. But no, يَعْلَمُ مَا تَكْسِبُ كُلُّ نَفْسٍ. Okay, because of nafs. So good, yeah. There were two. There were two present tenses there. Two verbs present tenses. Yes, next one. أتعجبين من أمر الله. Anybody would like to? Yes, go ahead, sister. Oscar, go ahead.
Yeah. So at Tanjabin, that's plural, feminine second.
Why there's an echo? Are you in the car?
No, I'm it's my laptop. Have a bit issue with it. Is it better now?
Yeah, there is some kind of echo. Go ahead, maybe no.
So saying second plural, feminine.
No, it's not very clear, see, because of echo. First of all, أَتَعْجَبِينَ مِنْ أَمْرِ اللَّهِ. So what is the present tense? Identify the present. Where is the present tense, first of all?
So it's Tanjabina.
Yeah, Asam. Ta'jabina is the present Asam. Now tell us, is it third person, second person, or first person?
Second person.
Second Asam. Is it masculine or feminine?
Feminine.
Okay. Is it singular or dual or plural?
It's plural.
Sorry?
Plural.
Singular. Ta'alamina.
Oh.
See here? Ta'alamina is same as ta'jabina. Do you see it?
Oh, okay.
Second person.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
You're right.
So it's
Okay.
single. So ta'jabina min amrillah. What happened? I don't know. You have to always see the context. An angel came and told the prophet, I think maybe Zakaria or maybe Ibrahim, one of them, told his wife that you are going to bear a child. And she said, how is it possible? My husband is so old and I am a barren. Like she knows, right? She's a barren. She's already now has menopause and everything, long after menopause. And her husband was also so old. So she started surprising. When the angels came and said that Allah is giving you a tiding of a child, and she said she showed that amazement. So here Allah, angel says, "Ata'jabina min amrillah." Are you amazed? Or are you surprised at Allah's decree? Do you wonder at Allah's decree? So ta'jabina, you can see angel was talking to this lady. So it is the second person. It's the ladies. So it's the masculine, feminine, and singular. Yes, Sudania?
Why is there an alif? Is it like, is the, what's
Question.
the...
Alif is a question.
Oh.
Alif, we have done, no, it's alif istifham. For example, we say, Alam tara kayfa fa'ala. Did not you see how Allah did people of Ashab al-Fil? Or for example, the ayat we say all the time, Amman yujibul muttara, that alif is alif of questioning. Amman yujibul, who is the one who responds? So atajamina, this is questioning. Do you wonder at the what command of it? Yes, Sister Dishad?
I want to do the next one.
Sorry?
I said I'll do the next one.
Bismillah, go ahead.
Okay, so inni a'lamu ma la ta'lamun. So a'lamu is the first person masculine and feminine, and ta'lamun is the second person masculine plural.
Good. And the first person alamu is singulars. Okay.
Can it not be is masculine and feminine, right?
Yes, yeah. Masculine, feminine, and first and singular.
Oh, so, singular. Sorry. Yes.
Alamu, masculine, feminine, first person, singular. Okay.
Right.
Ta'alamuna is second person, masculine, and plural. Ta'alamuna. Inni a'lamu ma la ta'lamun. No, this is, all of us know this story, right? When Allah told the angels that I'm going to establish a vicegerent, a khalifa on this earth, so they protested, right? Said, how can you do that? And we are the one who always do your tasbih and sanctify you and do your ibadah. So Allah says, Inni a'lamu ma la ta'lamun. Because they say that they are going to create all the kind of fasad, everything. So inni, Allah says, a'lamu, Allah is talking. Inni, I know, and as she's right, it can be also man or woman. And Allah has no gender. So a'lamu, I know what you know. Yes, anybody else? Next one?
Yeah, I can do that. Next one.
Yeah, Bismillah. You have 2 minutes to Bismillah. Go ahead.
Okay. وَنَطْبَعُ عَلَى قُلُوبِهِمْ. وَنَطْبَعُ is first person, masculine and feminine together, dual and plural.
Good. Ahsant, yeah. So natba'u is first person, okay, singular, sorry, dual or plural, natba'u, right? And of course, it can be feminine or masculine, natba'u. Wa natba'u ala qulubi. Although, of course, here it refers to Allah, but Allah sometimes uses singular, sometimes uses plural. Now, this is, I said this, right, in previous lessons. Our scholars give two reasons. One reason, of course, is that Allah being the king of the kings, right? Usually, somebody's authority, they always use plural. For example, show that authority. Secondly, some scholars believe that when Allah says, that means He is doing it, but He also considers that agency using. For example, if He, for example, say, Inna anzalnahu fi al-Qadr, we have revealed it on the night of Qadr. So Allah revealed the Quran, but after revealing, He gave it to Jibreel. Jibreel came to the Prophet, right? So He used these agents. So some people say that Allah uses this plural form, considering also the agency used. But I think the previous reason is more that he, being a king or emperor, uses that plural. Okay, good. So I'm glad that you are participating. So this is how we'll do it. Instead of sending you what homework, and then you do it, and then you send me, then I mark, that we will do in the class. So mashallah, you're able to understand. But if you master this, because already you've done past tense last week well, if you master present tense well, the conjugation, then you know a lot about Arabic, a lot, because we already have done a lot of nouns. We are now getting into verb, and now you are understanding how to conjugate in the past tense and present tense. So you will see now, inshallah. I'm confident if you understand this concept well, every time you read the Quran, don't keep the translation. Try to see if you understand and check the translation. See if your understanding is near to what you understand. You'll find that you'll start understanding the concept of Quran, inshallah. Any questions or any clarifications? So
I just want to say that by using the word ghaib today, I made the link with ghiba, I think. It's somebody that's not present and you talk
Yeah.
behind their back. So is it the same root, ghaib and
Yes,
ghiba?
exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, thank you. That was wonderful.
Yeah, because backbiting is somebody who is not present, right? So somebody is ghaib. So yes, the same, because of it is a person is ghaib, we talk about him, is known as ghiba, backbiting. Good observation. That's good connection. Yeah, there's the same root word. Thank you again for all of you for joining us, and I again appreciate your coming on time, so we can also start on time and on time. Please keep us in du'as. Inshallah, we'll see you next week. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
That is,
No, please.